Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Viswanath Tiwari from Central University of Rajasthan. Today I am going to discuss about the module that is pH and temperature dependency of enzymes, pH optimum curve and determination of pKa values. This module has been taken from paper Molecular Enzymology and Protein Engineering. So what is objective of this paper? So objective of this module is to understand the effect of pH and temperature, or you can say effect of the conditions, environmental conditions, on the conformation as well as catalysis of the enzyme. We will also discuss how the pKs of the enzyme are important for its pH response. So this module is divided into following sections. First, we will discuss about basics of enzyme and its pK and its stability. Second, we will discuss what is effect of the pH on the stability and catalysis of the enzyme. Then we will discuss what is pH optimum curve. Then we will discuss how we can determine the pK values of enzyme active sites, side chains and its significances. And in the last, we will discuss what is effect of temperature on the stability as well as catalysis of the enzyme. So, enzyme, as you know, are large globular proteins that act as biological catalyst, and they are central in all biochemical process. They catalyzes hundred of reactions ranging from degradation of nutrients to conversion and transformation of chemical energy and formation of biological macromolecules. They increases the rate of reaction without being involved in the reaction or without being used in the reaction. So, in the absence of an enzyme, reaction are slow, whereas in the presence of enzyme, the rate of reaction can increase up to 17 folds. So, enzyme catalyzed reaction usually take place under a relatively mild condition or the condition which is present in biological system. For example, the pH is neutral and temperature 37 degrees centigrade, as compared to the chemical processes which can take place to non biological condition. Then we will also discuss how your enzyme is stabilized and destabilized by pH and temperature. So, enzymes are stabilized by a number of interactions that is categorized into covalent as well as non-covalent interactions. So, covalent interaction comprises disulfide bonds which give additional stability to the enzyme structure. So, non-covalent bonds includes electrostatic interaction or ionic interaction or salt bridges. These are the three names of same interaction. Then hydrogen bonding, hydrophobic forces, entropic forces. So, all these interaction providing stability to the enzyme, although they are weak forces, all non-covalent interactions are weak forces, but if they act together, they provide a mechanical strength, a strong strength as well as flexibility to the structure of enzymes. There are certain factors that affects the rate of enzyme catalysis. The first factor is pH, then we have temperature, then we have salt concentration, then we have detergent concentration, then we have presence of oxidizing and reducing agents, then we have concentration of various preservative such as glycerol, then we have the metal ion and its role in the stability and catalysis, and then we have the concentration of substrate and cofactors. But two major factor, which is you can say the environmental factor or environmental condition, the first one is pH and second is the temperature, which affecting the enzyme activity in large extent, and they has been discussed in this module. So in this present module, we will discuss the effect of pH and temperature in the stability and conformation of the enzyme. So we will also discuss how pH optimum curve is produced. We will also discuss how the pK of side chain of active site is playing role in the catalysis of the enzyme, and we will also discuss how we can determine the pK of amino acid side chain. Now we will discuss effect of pH on the stability and catalysis of the enzyme. As you know, enzymes are affected by change in the pH, and the most favorable pH is known as optimal pH. And optimal pH is a point of the pH at which enzyme is most active. Hence, any alteration in the optimal pH result into decrease its activity. Correlation of pH with the activity of enzyme is due to the fact that active site of enzyme has charged amino acid with different ionization state that is necessary for performing critical functions, which is important for its interaction with substrate. For example, removal of proton from histidine residue might result into the loss of its ionic interaction, which is necessary for stabilization of active site of enzyme. The pH range over which enzyme undergoes changes in the activity can provide an idea about type of amino acid that is involved in the interaction. Variation in the pH influences electric charge of acidic like carboxylic or basic like guanidinium or amino group, etc., which influence functional group in the active site of the protein and hence affecting the activity of enzyme. Therefore, high concentration of hydrogen or hydroxyl group, which is resulting from decrease or increase in the pH, disrupt electrostatic interaction between enzyme and substrate. Many enzyme has optimum pH at around 6.8, but it varies from one enzyme to another due to different environment in which they work. For example, pepsin, a digestive enzyme, work at acidic pH of the stomach. Chymotrypsin is active in the basic pH of intestine, and enzymes are stable over a pH range from 2.5 to 5.5 with the optimum activity around 3.5 if it is an acidic enzyme, and maximum activity of alpha amylase is 3.5 in the presence of soluble starch. All enzymatic process involving proton transfer undergoes acid-base catalysis, except few which lack any acidic or basic group in the active site. Regarding the pH condition, enzymes have a strict limitation that they must operate at physiological pH of 5 to 9. Due to this restriction and presence of small range of amino acid side chain available to participate in acid-base chemistry, there is a diverse range of acid-base chemistry that is achieved. Generally, acid catalysis occur when substrate is protonated at catalytic residue. The active site residue must therefore protonated at physiological pH, but its pK must be just higher. If the pK of side chain is greater than 10, then it will become thermodynamically unfavorable to transfer the proton. The base catalysis take place either when substrate is deprotonated or when water is deprotonated prior to the attack on the substrate. So enzyme active site must therefore be deprotonated at physiological pH but have pK value just below. The different pKs values of amino acid side chain can be measured by analysis of enzymatic reaction rate versus pH. The pK values of active site, acidic and basic group can be strongly influenced by their microenvironment. For example, a lysine residue present in the active site of enzyme of acetoacetate decarboxylase form an amine linkage with the substrate. Its pK value is found to be 5.9, which is much less than expected value of 9. It was because of presence of another positively charged lysine residue adjacent to it, which makes protonated form thermodynamically less favorable. The another example is ethylene diamine, where pK of monoprotonated form is 10.7, but the pK for the doubly protonated form is 7.5. So halophilic protein, short-lived protein are characterized by increased negative charge due to increased acidic amino acid content and peptide insertions, which compensate for extreme ionic conditions. After discussion of effect of pH on the stability of enzyme and catalysis, let's have discussed what is pH optimum curve. So pH will influence the velocity of enzyme catalyzed reaction. An active site of enzyme is frequently composed of ionizable group that must be in the proper ionic form in order to maintain the conformation of active site, binding of substrate or catalysis of the reaction. Sometimes substrate may also contain ionizable group and only one ionic form of substrate will bind to the enzyme and undergoes catalysis. Therefore, the pH, optimum pH, which is selected for the analysis of enzyme must be selected based on active site residues as well as ionizable group present on the substrate. So a graph plotted for pH versus rate of reaction exhibit a well-shaped curve with highest peak indicating the optimum pH for enzyme activity. As you can see here, it is a well-shaped curve where the optimum pH is going to be the maximum rate of enzyme activity. So as we have discussed, every enzyme have catalytic residues and catalytic residues have catalytic side chains, and different side chain are going to be ionized or protonated in a specific conditions by changing the pH. And for a particular catalytic reaction, we require a particular ionization state of active side chain. So therefore, as per the requirement of our enzyme catalysis, we have a functional optimum pH for which your enzyme is going to be efficient or effective or active. Therefore, you can say that the optimum pH of an enzyme depends on the active site catalytic residues and their ionization state. Not only that, when you are talking about the catalysis, it is the ionization state of your substrate is also important. For example, if you have active site which need to be protonated for the catalytic activity, so you are changing the pH which protonate your catalytic side chain. But you have to make sure that the substrate does not alter its ionization state. Therefore, when we are talking about pH optimization curve, both are important. You have to take the optimum pH which make the required side chain ionized or protonated, but at the same time at that optimum pH curve, your substrate is also having the ionization state that will help in the process of catalysis or binding of your substrate to the active site. Based on that, some acidophilic enzyme has optimum pH in acidic conditions, while some basophilic enzyme has optimum pH in basic condition. As we have discussed, the pK play very significant role, or you can say pK of side chain present in the active site play very significant role. So let's have discuss how you will determine the pK values and what its significance. So pH, as you know, is measurement of acidity or basicity of aqueous solution, and it is defined as negative log of hydrogen ion concentration. So pH is equal to minus log hydrogen ion concentration, and solution with a pH less than 7 is acidic, while pH more than 7 is basic. And acid are one that donate proton, and base are one that accept the proton. And species formed by ionization of acid is conjugate base, or you can say that conjugate acid and base differ in the protons. For example, acetic acid, which is a weak acid, acetate ion, which is produced because of donation of proton. So we have acetic acid, which is a conjugate acid, and acetate ion, which is a conjugate base. So acetic acid and acetate are conjugate acid base pair, and the equilibrium constant for this ionization is equals to H plus into A minus divided by Ha, where H plus shows proton, A minus shows conjugate base, and Ha shows conjugate acids. The pK of an acid is given by pKa is equals to minus log K, that is equals to log 1 upon K. So pKa is the pH at which any group is half ionized. For example, if you are taking 100 molecules of Ha, so when you are putting Ha at the pH which is equals to its pK, so Ha exists in 50% ionized form. That means out of 100 Ha, we have 50 Ha and 50 A minus. And relation between pH and pK as well as ionization can be determined with the help of Henderson-Hasselbalch equation, which is given as pH is equal to pKa plus log conjugate base divided by conjugate acid. Here pKa is equals to minus log K, and Ka is acid dissociation constant, Ha is molar concentration of conjugate acid or conjugate weak acid or undissociated weak acid, and A minus is molar concentration of conjugate base of this acid. Henderson-Hasselbalch equation give the value of pKa if the pH and concentration of acid and its conjugate base is known, and vice versa. The pK of amino acid side chain plays significant role in defining the pH dependency of enzyme catalysis. Amino acid side chain functional group donate its proton when kept at the pH above to its pK, whereas group can accept the proton when kept below its pK. Similarly, if charge group is involved in a salt bridge formation with opposite charge residues, its pK would be altered. Or if it is present in hydrophobic regions of the active site, which will destabilize the charge form of the group. The pK value of prototropic group of active site can often be determined by pH dependent curve. The side chain of amino acid are weak acid or weak base, hence The fraction of side chain present in the ionized form can be calculated by Henderson-Hasselbalch equations. Hence, at the pH which is equals to its pK, half of the weak acid will be ionized. Suppose a active site of enzyme contains a basic group that must be protonated for the catalysis in order to bind negatively charged substrate. Portion of the active enzyme increases with decrease in the pH because we want your active site to be protonated, while active enzyme decreases with increase in the pH because increase in the pH leads to the deprotonation, and the ionization of the substrate will also change with the pH. Therefore, care should be taken to finalize the optimum pH. Active site of the enzyme may contain multiple ionizable group. It may contain single ionizable group. So let's assume that the active site residues have single ionizable group and its substrate is positively charged. Therefore, the active site residues, its ionizable group must be negatively charged for the catalysis. When you have this situation, then proton that is altered during the pH change will behaving like a competitive inhibitor, because your substrate have a positive charge, proton have a positive charge, and active site have a negative charge. So they will compete with the substrate for its binding. Therefore, the velocity equation for effect of the pH on the enzyme can be similar to competitive inhibition, and it can be written as V0 is equal to Vmax into S plus concentration, that is substrate with positive charge, divided by Km multiplied by 1 plus H plus concentration divided by Ke plus substrate concentration which is positively charged. Here, if you compare it with the competitive inhibitor, inhibitor concentration is replaced by proton concentration and Ki is replaced by Ke, and the Ke is pKa, and which explain the binding of proton to its side chain enzyme. If you make a Lineweaver plot of it, then you have to make the reciprocal plot of it, and that look like 1 by V0 is equal to Km upon Vmax in the bracket 1 plus H plus upon Ke bracket close into 1 upon positively charged substrate concentration plus 1 upon Vmax. And because this is a straight line equation, so you can make the plot of it, that is V0 versus 1 by S plus concentration at different concentration of proton or pH will yield the different values of Km apparent, for which Ke or pKe can be obtained as we can obtain for the normal competitive inhibitor. As we know that each amino acid comprises of two ionizable group, a alpha amino group, another alpha carboxyl group attached to the C alpha atom, and those amino acid with ionizable side chain may have additional side chain which can be ionizable. So this amino acid which is having ionizable side chain is going to have more influence in terms of effect of the pH on the ionization of amino acid and effect of pH when we are studying effect of pH on the catalysis. So the pK value for every amino acid is different due to the presence of differentially charged side chain. The pK value of, for example, the pK value of alpha carboxylic group of all 20 amino acid lies within the range of 1.8 to 2.5, while for alpha amino acid it varies from 8.7 to 10.7. But the side chain have a different pKs. For example, aspartic acid have pK of 3.9, glutamic acid have pK of 4.1, while arginine have guanidinium group with pK of 12.5 and lysine have epsilon amino group with pK of 10.5. So the only side chain of histidine have the pK value 6, which is close to physiological pH. Therefore, when you're talking about the catalysis, the side chain of these amino acids are going to play significant role, and this is the reason why, because histidine is having the pK close to the physiological pH. The histidine is also known as biological buffer, and it is going to be a very important amino acid side chain that is involved in acid-base catalysis. Every amino acid is going to be protonated or deprotonated based on the pH. So the pH at which any amino acid have net charge 0 is known as its isoelectric point. So the glycine is the simplest amino acid with only two ionizable group, and one is carboxylic group, another is amino group. So its pKa for carboxylic group is 2.34 and pKa for amino group is 9.6. So isoelectric point of glycine can be calculated by taking average of it, and if you're taking average of it, it is going to be 5.67. So if amino acid is having only two ionizable group, then you can take average of it. So at 5.67, carboxyl group is negatively charged and amino group is positively charged, so that will have net charge 0. But when you're talking about amino acid which is having side chain ionizable group, in that case Pi is taken as a mid value between the pK of isoionic groups. For example, in the case of acidic amino acid like aspartic acid and glutamic acid, the Pi of the aspartic acid and glutamic acid is the average of two isoionic group, so average of alpha COH and beta COH if it is an aspartic acid, or alpha COH and gamma COH if it is in glutamic acid. Similarly, in the case of basic amino acids such as lysine, the Pi is equals to the pKa of alpha NH2 group and epsilon amino group in the case of lysine, or Pi of arginine is equals to average of pK of alpha amino group and pK of guanidinium group. In this example, you can see that the lysine have pK which is average of two amino group, one is alpha amino group, other is epsilon amino group. Similarly, sulfahydryl group of cysteine and hydroxyl group of the serine also behaving like acidic group. So when you are calculating Pi of it, you have to consider it as acidic group and you have to take average of these group with carboxylic group. Therefore, the pK of ionizable group have a significance in study of ionization of the amino acid, and if you understand the ionization of amino acid, then it is very easy to understand what is effect of the pH in the ionization of active side chain residues or catalysis that is influenced by the pH. After discussion of effect of the pH on the conformation of the protein and enzyme, it is important to discuss the second parameter, that is temperature. So temperature also have influence on the stability and catalysis of the enzyme. So enzyme, as you know, is a protein complex and its catalytic activities depend on highly ordered tertiary structure, where every amino acid side chain are present in such a way that the stereospecific substrate binding and catalytic take place. The tertiary structure of enzyme is maintained by weak non-covalent interactions. Like most chemical reaction, increase in the temperature increases the rate of reaction, and high temperature result into the greater kinetic energy, and that is responsible for frequent collision between enzyme and substrate. Not only that, the rise in the temperature increases thermal energy of the substrate molecules. This rise in the portion of the substrate molecule with sufficient energy to overcome the Gibbs free energy of the activation, hence increases the rate of reaction. But excessive heat may result into much greater increase in the thermal energy of the molecule. that makes protein chain increases its Brownian motion, and that will leads to the breaking of weak non-covalent interactions such as hydrogen bonding, electrostatic interaction, and hydrophobic interaction. The breaking of bond result into unfold of the enzyme, which finally get denatured at very high temperature, which disturb its stereospecific tertiary structure, and disruption in the tertiary structure will destroy the active site topology and three-dimensional structure of enzyme. Not only that, even in the small changes in the 3D structure will alter the active site and result into the loss or decrease in the catalytic activity, and ultimately decreases rate of reaction. A graph of temperature, if plotted against velocity, that shows a well-shaped temperature optimum curve where an enzyme is going to be active and a optimum temperature is required for its activity. The temperature at which half of the enzyme get denatured is generally referred as melting temperature or Tm. The Tm decides the stability of enzyme. For example, E. coli DNA polymerase melt at denature at around 50 degrees centigrade. On the other hand, the DNA polymerase of Thermus aquaticus, that is known as Taq polymerase, can perform reaction at 72 degrees centigrade. The temperature at which the Taq polymerase denature is 99 degree. So the high number of salt bridges and hydrophobic interaction that is present in the thermophilic protein or enzyme, they contribute to high melting temperature on Taq polymerases. So thermophilic protein, you can say, differ from mesophilic protein in terms of prominent hydrophobic core and increased electrostatic interaction to maintaining its stability at high temperature. If temperature is too low, there can be no reaction or inactivation of enzyme. Thus, an optimum temperature is needed for enzyme to be activated. But what happened to the enzyme which are found in the cryophiles? So, cryophiles have enzyme which is more flexible as compared to the mesophiles. How they are making it more flexible? By reducing hydrophobic core, having less charged protein surfaces that maintain the flexibility, and therefore the cryophile is going to be active under the cold condition. In general, we can say that a enzyme with low molecular weight and single polypeptide chain and having disulfide linkages are more heat stable as compared to a high molecular oligomeric protein. Similarly, a protein with less hydrophobic residue, more glycine residue, less prolyl residue, less charged residue are going to be more cryophile stable or more cold stress resistant. So students, let us summarize what we have learned from this module. So we have discussed what is the influence of temperature and pH on the enzyme. We have discussed what are the different non-covalent interactions and covalent interactions that is involved in the stability of the enzyme. We have also discussed what is the role of different active site residues in response to different pH condition. We have also discussed what is the role of changing pH and temperature on the stability of the enzyme. So we have discussed that in the increase in the temperature will causes increase in the thermal energy of the enzyme that makes enzyme side chain increases its Brownian motion, and that may leads to the breaking non-covalent bonds which result into its denaturation. So if we have the denatured enzyme, then that loss its three-dimensional structure, and it is a three-dimensional structure of the enzyme that is important because when we are talking about the enzyme catalysis, the three-dimensional structure of active site as well as the location of side chain in the active site are important. Therefore, when a temperature dependent denaturation take place, then the active site topology change, which will inhibit the catalytic mechanism of the enzyme. Similarly, we have discussed a mesophilic enzyme is going to be denatured at the temperature which is going to be a stable temperature for a thermostable enzyme. So, how your thermostable enzyme is going to perform catalysis at high temperature? So, we have discussed there are changes in thermostable enzyme as compared to mesophilic enzyme. First change is thermophilic enzyme have more salt bridges. Second thing is they have more hydrophobic interaction. These two interaction basically provides additional stability to the thermostable enzyme, because you have to increase the temperature which break these interactions, and then thermostable enzyme undergoes denaturation. We have also discussed how your cold stable enzyme is going to be stable under cold condition. So, we have discussed how your extra glycine residues, less proline residues or other amino acid composition are contributing to giving additional flexibility to the cold stable enzyme. Therefore, they are going to be having flexibility and activity under cold condition. So, in the way you can say that the thermostable enzyme and cone stable enzyme have different amino acid composition as compared to its mesophilic enzyme. So, we have also discussed what is a pK. We have discussed that pK is a pH at which the net charge of the molecule is 0. We have also discussed how the pK of the side chain present in the active site will have effect on the activity of the enzyme. Every enzyme have a specific active site residue, therefore, they are going to be influenced by a specific pH of the medium. We have also discussed how your acidophilic and basophilic enzyme have different catalytic properties that makes it stable and catalytically active under diverse conditions. So, in this module we have discussed how your enzyme is responsive to different environmental changes in the pH and temperature, which will help to understand the process of catalysis, the process of stability and catalysis under diverse biological conditions like thermophiles, cryophiles, acidophiles and basophiles. Thank you.